What is fasting anyway? Fasting is an intentional time that we set aside in our schedule and in our busy lives to slow down and to deny ourselves some things that we can have and things we even enjoy. Specifically, we set aside certain foods or food altogether in order to devote ourselves to prayer, to devote ourselves to seeking the Lord. I know that may be scary for you, and some of you are like, well, that's not for me because I surely like my food. And if that is you, me too. I love food, and all the more reason that I need this. In fact, I remember hearing a long time ago that sometimes the smells, like if something disgusts us with a certain smell, it's actually a mineral or a vitamin that we need in our body, which is interesting. I don't know all the science on that. But I've thought about that when it comes to certain practices and rhythms in our lives, that maybe it's actually because we need this, that and sometimes the enemy, Satan, can kind of convince us that this is not something that should be a part of our life to keep us from drawing close to the Lord. But what is a fast? Well, there's lots of types of fast, and I want to read a short passage before we talk about the different types of fast and what fasting is. I love this passage in Isaiah 58. Fasting is something throughout the scriptures that the Lord instructs for his people, that there's a called time of fast, and we're going to talk in other video resources about why we fast and the heart of fasting, so make sure you check those out. But I want to read to this one specific passage in Isaiah 58. Read the whole chapter. Go read the whole chapter if you're preparing for a fast. But I want to just pick up on a couple things, because there's this conversation between God and his people, and this is what God says back to his people. Will you call this fast even an acceptable day to the Lord? Is this not the fast which I choose, to loosen the bonds of wickedness, to undo the bands of the yoke, and to let the oppressed go free, and break every yoke? Is it not to divide your bread with the hungry, and bring the homeless poor into your house? When you see the naked, to cover him, and not to hide yourself from your own flesh, then your light will break out like the dawn, and your recovery will speedily spring forth, and your righteousness will go before you. The glory of the Lord will be your rear guard. Then you will call, and the Lord will answer. You will cry, and he will say, here I am. I love that scripture. It gets us right into the type of fasting and what God is after in our fast. Let me just briefly tell you, there's lots of different types of fast, and I would encourage you to pray about and choose the one that's right for you, where you're at in your spiritual journey. I think that the first kind of most obvious way is a complete fast, right? That's water only. It may be for a certain meal during the day. It may be for a short period of time. Jesus infamously did 40 days of a complete fast. That was the Jesus style. Unless you are spiritually mature and well experienced in this and have consulted your doctor and even your pastor, I would encourage you not to do a 40-day complete fast really without some guidance and real experience in this. The second type of fast, which is quite common in the church today, is a Daniel fast, and it's all fruits, vegetables, and nuts. No dairy, no meats, no processed sugar, nothing processed. It's just a super clean diet. That's the Daniel fast. You can read more about what Daniel did in the book of Daniel. A partial fast, that may be only certain meals of the day, that you say, hey, I'm going to fast every day at lunch, and I'm going to spend this time in prayer, because with fasting comes an increased focus around prayer and devotion to the Lord. That may be certain windows or just certain meals in the day. It's a partial fast. You could consider doing a juice fast for a portion of the fast. Maybe you do 3 days of a juice fast. Or you'll do a juice fast for once a week, and then do a Daniel fast the rest of the time. Maybe, I don't know, you can kind of pray about and see what the Lord leads you to. And then the fifth type of fast I would mention, and I've been hesitant to share this in the past, but I'll share that a media fast is something that some of us could really benefit from. That we turn off the TV, we drop off of social media, we silence our devices, and really don't kind of go home and just veg out with TV, but we devote ourselves to prayer. And it's not just not doing those things, but it's leaning into prayer and devotion. The time that we normally spend scrolling on social media or watching movies or TV, we're going to devote that time to the Lord. Or video games, maybe if it's young people that you're super into video games, maybe that's something that you would consider and pray about. So what is fasting? It's an intentional time that we set aside to devote ourselves to prayer, to consecrate ourselves before the Lord. Make sure you check out these other resources about why we fast and some practical advice and wisdom on how to fast.